Did you hear Democrats' exciting news?
Are you going to run?
I have not decided. I'm thinking about it.
Amazing. Who wouldn't want that? I guess anyone who didn't vote for Holocaust Harris last time, like me. But don't worry, here's Cory Booker last week in Michigan with a winning message to get people like me back on board.
I saw it with Kamala Harris. There were too many people that say, I don't agree with her on everything. I mean, 90 out of 100, I agree with her, but those 10, I can't do it. Well, you may disagree with her on 10% of her views, but you let someone get in office who you disagree with on everything.
As Jamarius on Twitter said, Democrats have made it clear that genocide, ethnic cleansing, murder of children, and non-stop dehumanization of Palestinians is acceptable in their eyes, and we should fall in line and vote for them even when they're complicit in these crimes. This is why they will keep losing. So why do elected Democrats, who lost every branch of government in the last election, feel so confident that they can play in our face, insult you, run the same losing candidates, and somehow get away with it? There are four main reasons for this. The first reason is that they think voters are just throwing a tantrum, and if they just hold on tight and wait out the news cycle, everyone who's mad at them will forget all about their silly little demands. When the House voted to fund DHS after ICE agents killed 2 people, one Democratic lawmaker told Axios, "The base may get upset about the vote initially, but that'll go away." You see it with celebrities all the time. When they get into trouble, they just disappear for 2 months. And by the time they return, no one actually remembers what the controversy was about. The news cycle and our attention spans move so fast that very few things ever stick anymore. So that's reason number one. They think they can wait you out. The second reason is they think they can get away with it because, at the end of the day, other than Republicans, they're the only game in town. Since we live in an electoral system that doesn't allow actual competition to the 2 main parties, both Republicans and Democrats think that their base has no choice except to get over their petty little demands, like healthcare please, and vote for them anyway. Because what are you gonna do, vote for the other team? This "you don't have a choice" has been their sales pitch for decades. And many people on both sides of the aisle have reacted to that pitch by staying home. Data from the University of Florida's election lab shows almost 90 million Americans, or about 36% of the country's voting-eligible population, did not vote in the 2024 election. If not voting was a party, it would be the biggest political party in the country. Telling people they should suck it up and vote for the lesser evil is a losing argument and a losing strategy. Which brings me to the third reason Democrats aren't really trying to win. They don't need to. Congress has a 95% re-election rate, so they get to keep their cushy job no matter which party is technically in power. They get wined and dined by rich people who treat them like celebrities, welcome them into their wine caves, yacht parties, fancy strategy dinners, and nothing really changes for them when their party is in the minority, except having even less work to do. They get to relax, go to fundraising dinners, go on CNN or NBC, and talk a big game about how all the amazing things they would pass if only they had a political majority, and then go home, do nothing, and buy another house. A lot of their decision-making would make a lot more sense once you understand that the Democratic Party isn't really a political party. It is first and foremost a corporation. The duties of that corporation isn't to win electoral votes, it's to make money. A shit ton of money. Kamala may have lost all 7 swing states, but she raised $1 billion, and that's money in the pocket for strategists, bundlers, messaging consultants, marketing executives, and all the other leeches who profit off of your misery, which is why they all want her to run again. Here's another piece of proof for you. When Ayo Flippity-Flop wanted the top position in the House Oversight Committee, her argument to other members for why she deserved that position wasn't her qualifications, skills, or how she would perform. It was how much money she raised. According to Axios, she rattled all of the stats. "I've raised over $1 million for members. I've paid all of my DCCC dues. I was one of the most active surrogates for the Biden and Harris campaigns." The only organizing principle for Democrats, Republicans, and their media propagandists isn't winning. It's making money. That's why they don't care if they win. When Democrats text you they want $25 to defend abortion rights, they don't actually use that money to defend abortion rights. They funnel it right back to pay for their own useless salaries. The Democratic Party is using important issues you rightly and deservedly care about to squeeze you out of $5, $10, anything to get you to click that button and give them your cash to fill their own coffers. The fourth and final reason Democrats don't ever really change is the liberal pundit class that enables them, and I'm including so-called independent journalists in this. The media landscape consists of power-hungry bootlickers who kiss politicians' asses no matter what shitty things they do while they're still in power, because they have a tight relationship with them behind the scenes and want to maintain their access. That's why you see Fox News kissing Republicans' asses and CNN kissing Democrats' asses. Selling politicians' anti-accomplishments to peasants like us is part of the deal for maintaining access. Here's self-described liberal pundit Ryan Grim in an interview with Vanity Fair, where he dished, quote-unquote, on his tight relationship with AOC. And when asked what the squad's biggest accomplishments were, here's what he said. The focus on Bernie talking about climate so much during his first presidential campaign, and then AOC and the rest of the squad following it up with the Green New Deal, brought climate into a position where it couldn't be ignored by the Biden administration. He wound up putting the head of Sunrise and AOC on his climate task force. And when the Build Back Better Act whittled down, the thing that remained was the climate stuff. That was a product not just of the changing climate, the situation getting worse every single year, but also of the Sanders AOC wing of the party forcing the conversation. I actually have to wash my mouth after saying so much bullshit. Here's the laydown on the climate stuff Ryan Grim was referencing. The so-called climate bill Genocide Joe passed contained billions in subsidies to ExxonMobil that help it drill more oil, not less. ExxonMobil's CEO was so happy with it that he thanked Genocide Joe for especially benefiting his company. In addition to increasing oil drilling, there's another climate disaster Democrats were single-handedly responsible for. Research on the environmental destruction in Gaza, published by the American Journal of Public Health, showed cleanup and disposal of toxic chemical waste from bombs would take at best 15 years, with impacts on agriculture, sewage systems, wildlife, and water accessibility lasting decades. But I'm sure Gaza Holocaust survivors would be thrilled to know, even though their environment was destroyed by Democrats, at least AOC got to sit on a stupid-ass task force. Ryan Grim's pathetic attempt at selling broken bridges wasn't just confined to climate. Here he is in 2024 justifying Democrats' inaction on reducing housing costs, and telling voters they should be happy anyway, because so-called unemployment numbers are down.
The fact that prices jumped and are still high, and rent is still a huge problem, is itself kind of a cloud over everything else that he's done. Yeah. But everything else he's done is not nothing. Like low unemployment rate, labor militancy, cash in people's pockets. Like the economy overall.
When Democrats in theory are supposed to be critiqued for their shitty behaviors while they're still in power, they don't. Instead, they get untalented, used car salespeople defending their shortcomings, shielding them from criticism, and telling disappointed voters that their concerns are childish, immaterial, or just not real. To be generous to politicians for a fraction of a second, if you were surrounded by sycophantic fans like Ryan Grim, who kissed your ass all day and told you everything you wanted to hear, like Genocide Joe being so great on climate, revolutionary even, you would lose touch with reality too. The role of the press in a democracy isn't to have a tight relationship with elected officials or blatantly lying about their anti-accomplishments, it's to scrutinize them. Just yesterday, California state legislators, where Democrats have a supermajority, killed CalCare, which would have guaranteed healthcare for every Californian. Whose fault was it this time, Ryan? Was it the parliamentarians' fault? Joe Manchin? Kristen Sinema? There's a play by Arthur Miller called The Death of a Salesman, with the underlying message that everybody is selling something, and what the Democratic Party is selling you, or anyone stupid enough to believe it, is the idea that they'll actually follow through on the things they promise. But when push comes to shove, they get into power and have actual majorities. Democrats have proven that they will only do what their donors tell them to, sell you excuses instead, get their media acolytes to parrot these excuses, and tell you that if you still want to codify Roe or increase the minimum wage or get universal health care, you first have to give them more money so they have even bigger majorities, and they'll do it next time, pinky promise. The Democratic Party is rotten to the core. It is an abusive, money-making cult, and until you choose yourself over their lies, you will continue to be trifled with